Dear brothers and sisters, the saints, Ermia, welcome to a new episode. Today's episode title is Why Did Jesus Live 33 years only? What a joke. Very primitive question anyway. But anyway, this episode actually is answering so-called the fiery preacher. That's why I prepared it. Okay. Before I start, a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share on your social media, please. Also, remember to pray for the safety and the peace of the great city, Jerusalem, the city of the great King. Pray for the Gazans to know Christ, by the way. You can see what's happening, and you realize actually the prophecies being fulfilled of the proper book. All right. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, Moses, just before his departure, was actually blessing every tribe. And he concluded his blessing as a prophecy, saying, "Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord." Lord here is Yahweh. "The shield of your help and the sword of your majesty. Your enemies shall submit to you, and you shall tread down their high places." Deuteronomy 33. A video for that so-called fiery preacher, Baal priest. I'll leave the link in the description box if you want. And it was an answer for the question, why did Jesus live 33 years only? And actually he must say something. He must say something. But actually all what he said was totally not biblical at all. Just junk. All right? That's why it was further to me, and I decided to make this video. Before watching the video, I'll tell you the 3 points that I'm going to speak about, so you can understand how the episode will go. Watch the following. Number 1, the farce of the legal responsibility at the Jews is 30 years of age, 30. Second one, the farce of 3.5 years, the ministry time of Lord Jesus, 3.5 years. Number 3 is a very big farce. It's a junk stuff, like false, I would say, false verse, and building conclusions built on a false verse, so comes with false conclusions, of course. So all rubbish. So let's watch the video and come back again.
لماذا عاش المسيح 33 سنة ولم يعش أكتر من ذلك؟ حلو السؤال ده. ليه عاش 33 سنة؟ لأن في آية عندنا تقول يؤخذ الشرير في نصف عمره. وفي المزمور 90 اللي كتبه موسى النبي يقول أيام الإنسان 70 ومع القوة 80. فكلمة 70 نصها 35 سنة. فلما يؤخذ الشرير في نص عمره يبقى يتاخد سن 35 سنة. وفي آية تانية بيقولها المسيح للآب، يا إلهي لا تقبضني في نصف عمري. رد عليه وقال له سنوك إلى دهر الدهور. نص العمر 35. طيب ليه المسيح عاش 33 سنة ونص بالظبط؟ لأن اليهود عندهم الإنسان بيوصل لدرجة المسؤولية على نفسه سن 30. فاكرين المولود أعمى هو كامل السن، اسألوه. لو المسيح يسوع بدأ عمره قبل سن 30 كانوا هيقبضوا على أهله، يقبضوا على أمه، يقبضوا على قرايبه. انتوا ما عرفتوش تربوا ابنكم. كانوا هيعملوا كده اليهود. لكن لما يبدأ الخدمة في سن 30 يبقى هو مسؤول عن نفسه. طيب خدمة المسيح كانت 3 سنين ونص. ليه؟ لأن آدم قعد في الجنة بحسب التقليد اليهودي 3 سنين ونص، والمسيح قدم خدمة 3 سنين ونص، والأنتي كرايست اللي هو ضد المسيح في الضيقة العظيمة هيقعد 3 سنين ونص، زمان وزمانين.
Number one, he said that the legal responsibility at the Jews 30 years of age, and he mentioned as example the born blind person, that when his parents said he is of age, you ask him, in the book of John chapter 9. Absolute crap. Absolute crap. Number one, to answer this, where about in the Bible that said that the born blind was 30 years of age? Now, yes, obviously they said he's of age, but we'll see now what age. Secondly, the way he was speaking and answering and actually contesting with the Jews and the Pharisees shows actually he is not a teenager, could be a little above that. So it could be a young man, but not a child, of course. All right? So in fact, to find out, so he cannot say that this means it's a Syri, because the Bible does not say he was Syri. No, it doesn't say that at all. So this guy, see, he says he is of age, and he said, this means he's Syri. No, he's not Syri. Jesus started his ministry at 30. Yes, that's right, because ministry to start at 30 years of age, not before that. So now let's find out. Number two, actually responsibility at the Jews, actually two types of responsibilities. Number one, responsibility of the of religious responsibility. This is for boys and girls when they start to be teenagers, like began to be like a young man or a young lady. All right. So at the girls when they are 12, they are called like responsibility, like religious responsibility, in the sense when the girl is 12, when the boy is 13, then they must follow the commandments. They will be in charge of their own sins. They have to study the commandments. They have to fast the day of atonement. Especially for the girls, also they have to follow the purification, because she will be having her period at that time. So this is responsibility for religious stuff. All right. Second one, the legal responsibility. Legal responsibility when you reach 20. Like in some countries at the moment it's 18, some countries 21. All right. So at that time, a Jew boy or young man will be enlisted as a person to go to the army if needed at year 20, not 30 as that Baal priest said. That priest said Jesus was 30 and he was of age. If he started his ministry before that, they would arrest his relatives and brought his mom and tell them, your son, you did not raise your son properly. Absolute crap. 30 years for like ministry is different, but legal responsibility at 20. And what would you do with the people at that time? Very normal to get married before 30. Could be at 20 or even less. So what happened if someone at the time of Jesus got married at 20, 21, 25, less than 30? Of course, most of them, they would get married before 30. And he commits a crime. Will they bring his parents and his relatives telling them, your son, he did not raise your son properly, or he will be judged for his mistakes? Of course, he will be judged legally for his mistakes. Not up to 30. 30 is different story. 30 only for those who have ministry, and actually that was determined by the Lord himself. For those to be like priests or Levites, they started at 30, and actually they used to start training at 25 for 5 years as apprenticeship. So when they hit 30, then they can go and preach, like doing the job. So at 30 they are strong enough, they are mature enough. So a priest by 30, he will get trained when he's 25. He will know how to offer the sacrifice, to offer the incense, and so on. For the other ones that are not priests, they know, for example, especially when they It was the tent, how to assemble the tent, how to dismantle it, and how to erect it back again, and strong enough to do this. So this is a responsibility for ministry, but not the legal responsibility. And the born blind was not a priest or going to have any ministry to be 30 years of age. No, he was a very common Jew. So when he's 20, if he's fit, he can be registered to be in the army. All right, so that is it. So this is first part of the episode. The age of 30. No, it is not 30. It's 20. Now, second thing, we come down to the farce of why did Jesus had the ministry only for 3.5 years? What a joke that this guy said. What is it? He began to say, because Adam lived in the paradise 3.5 years, and the Antichrist will serve 3.5 years. What a joke. Number one, what is the relationship between, assuming Adam to live in the paradise 3.5 years, and the Antichrist, which did not come until now it is 2,000 years after Christ, he will serve 3.5 years. What is the relationship? There is no relationship at all. Adding to that, number one, when I did my research, the Jews did not say, he said actually the Jews said traditionally that Adam lived there 3.5 years. No, I tried and I did not find this information. I found something totally different. I found the Jews actually argued how many hours, not how many days. Or how many years. The Jews, obviously they believe that the days of creation is 24 hours each, because they said Adam, this is what I read in the internet, Adam was created on the 6th day, and the Lord rested on the 7th day. So they said this means Adam was created, got married, sinned, kicked out on the 6th day, same day. And then began to say, this means, they argued, is it how many hours then? So some people said 3 hours, 4 hours. So it ranges between 3 hours up to I think 10 hours, something like that. So they're talking about hours, not days, not years. So from where did he say got this information? I don't know. Most importantly, do you reckon that God, in his foreknowledge, knew that Antichrist will serve 3.5 years? Then he decided, okay, this means make the ministry of Lord just 3.5 years. What a joke. How does it work this way? It doesn't work this way at all. And again, what is the relationship between the ministry of Jesus and the ministry of the Antichrist, or the time that Adam lived in the paradise? I tell you what, if Jesus lived 50, people would ask the same question, and the same guy would bring something. If 70, he would bring something. If it's 100, he would bring something. He just would like to show that he knows everything and bring any answer. And because he is a bona, they kiss his hands, then no one will dare to ask him, it doesn't make sense. No, 100% not. All right? So it is, I would say it's a very primitive question from a person that has very primitive knowledge of the Bible. Anyway, we'll know some information, like biblical information, later on. So that was the second one to answer this. The third one, which will take like more than half of the episode, a biblical junk. He started saying that we have, which we don't, we have a verse that says the evil will be taken in the middle of his days. I say it in Arabic because I mentioned Arabic. He said يؤخذ الشرير في نصف أيامه. So actually, first of all, we don't have this verse. Now he's cheating you, unless he has his own, I would say, his own gospel of Jeremiah. But we don't have this one. Now, he will take from a verse from Psalm 90 and build a theory on it, on that non-verse that he mentioned. So this means he is coming now with junk, because you create a theory on a base which is not actually biblical. This verse in Psalm 90 says what? The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years. Okay. First of all, he will discard the 80, because Jesus didn't live up to 35. So he will build on 70. So he would say, this means a person will be 70. And the evil one should die, the good one to die before half. Really? This is based on the verse that he said that the evil will be taken in half of his days. So he said half of his days, this means a good one to be taken before the half. I would ask the same question, why the good one not to be taken after the half? Does it make any sense? His answer, it doesn't make any sense. And even why doesn't he go up to 80? So this means the half is 40, then Jesus could live up to 39 and a half. Because he will be stuck with this one. But actually this is all junk. In fact, in Psalm 55, verse 23, there is a verse that says exactly opposite to what this guy said. I'll read this for you. The verse says, before I go to the verse, by the way, I have another one. You know Adolf Hitler? You know the Holocaust? This guy would be the worst for the 20th century. How many millions of, especially Jews, he killed? And he lived up to when he was 56. Why he was not taken in half of his days? And all this evil not to happen. Ask the fiery preach why it did not happen. Now I come to verse 23, chapter Psalm 55, and unfortunately, if you apply the rule of this guy, which he from a verse is not in the Bible, this means, God forbid, of course, that Jesus was an evil person. So what this verse says? This verse says, "But you, O God, shall bring them," like the evil ones, "down to the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and the deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in you." First of all, this doesn't mean actually it's a rule that the evil one will be taken in half of their days. Now, it is a complaint from the composer of the psalm. He feels too many evils around him, and the evil people, they live long, and they're evil going around the world for ages. So he wishes, he says, okay, Lord, you will take them to the pit of destruction, but he wishes, if not to continue more than half of their days, not to spread more evil as long as they live. So actually it is not a rule to be set by God, but this is the cry of the composer of the psalm. By the way, you will find sometimes in some psalms, even David himself sometimes tells the Lord, "Why you stand away from me?" And some other questions, "I think you hasten and save me." We all human. Sometimes you see the Lord is not listening. Sometimes you see he is responding quickly, but actually in his wisdom, sometimes he keeps silent. Could be for years, by the way, because we might have a better thing for us, or maybe it is not the right time to answer what we want. And sometimes he hastens, and just even before we ask, he is there. So we cannot say this is a rule. So I repeat this again. "But you, O God, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and the deceitful men shall not live out their days, but I will trust in you." This means he wishes. But if we apply this to what this Baal priest said, this means if Jesus dies before the half of his days, he is an evil person. God forbid. All right. Third point. in this one. He is forging Psalm 102. 102. He said, there is a psalm says, he said that Jesus said to the Lord, don't, I read it to you, don't take me away in the midst of my days. Then the Father answered him, your years throughout generations. No, bad luck. So he put this psalm as a dialogue, that Jesus asking the Father not to take him in half of his days. Then the Father told him, your days are forever and ever. Absolute crap, what he said. Let's read the psalm, and you'll find actually again, it is a complaint from the composer. And it is not, no one, by the way, said that this is related to or anything to do anything with Jesus and the Father and the Son at all. So let's read this together, and you will find actually what does it say. He weakened my strength in the way. He, capital H, all of this. He shortened my days. I said, oh my God, don't take me away in the midst of my days. Your, capital Y, you God, your years are throughout all generations. So this means what? A complaint from the person telling him, God, you have weakened me in my youth, and you shortened my days. I say to God, don't take me away in the midst of my days, because they believe that the longer you live, this means a blessing from God. You are the only one, your days for all generations. But for me, give me to live until I'm old enough. This is what it meant. But it is not a dialogue between the Father and the Son. So this guy actually is doing what? Doing rubbish. Just he doesn't want to say, I do not know. No, he must come with something. But unfortunately, it's rubbish stuff. It's wrong stuff, as you said. I remember something about, maybe you heard about someone named Dr. Meyer Samuel. He's a very great preacher, actually. One day he was asked the question, I can't remember the question myself, and it was a difficult question. Then he said the following. He said, this is one of the million questions that I cannot answer about the Bible. Yeah, no one can answer everything or understand and answer everything in the Bible. No, you will not. All right. So what is the answer? So he kept telling us about this guy. So do you have an answer? I do have an answer up to the best of my knowledge. All right. I have a deep one, but I'll go to the quick one. All right. But it's good enough. But you can do your own, by the way, your own study, biblical study. So, but again, I'll tell you, if Jesus was 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 people would ask the same question, and those people again will come with any answer. All right, unless someone is really a biblical person, try to get a reasonable answer, or to say I don't know. So I read 3 verses, then we'll focus on 2. In the first epistle of Peter, chapter 1, says the following: knowing that you were not redeemed with corruptible things like silver or gold from your aimless conduct received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. He indeed was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last days for you. So the plan of salvation was foretold or foreordained. I actually said he, capital H, he indeed was foreordained, like Jesus was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but manifested in due time. All right? This could be not good enough. We'll read now 2 more, we'll make it sealed. Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law to redeem those were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of as sons. I repeat again, watch this. But when the fullness of time had come. So the plan, God put the plan. So in due course, when the fullness of time, Jesus came in. Now you tell me, but we asked, why did he live 33 years? Yes, it is there as well. Now, so this is, now we come to Romans chapter 5, verse 6. Says, for when we were still without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly. So the plan was put by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit ages before the creation even. All right? That's Peter 1. The second one, Galatians 4. In the fullness of time, God sent Jesus. And in the due time, Jesus died. So the plan like that. Of course, for Jesus to come, plenty of prophecies about him. 350 some people say 330, I didn't count them, but anything between 330 up to 350 prophecies about the first coming of Jesus been said and fulfilled when he came in, and said hundreds of years, could be even thousands of years before he came in, if you'd like to go that far. All right? And also thousands of years of his second coming. So, for example, I give you one that is very, very known to us. Before Jesus comes, John the Baptist had to come. And even John the Baptist was delayed until certain things to happen. Even which empire will be controlling the world, by the way, when Jesus comes. Which language would be the most dominant one. Roads should be like easily for the ministry of the people. This should be done by the Romans, by the way, best people at the time. Makes sense. So we cannot just say, Jesus came, he lived the 33 because split this and that and just say anything. No. It's a huge, big job, by the way. All right. So we can say, yes, it was a plan put before creation. And in the fullness of time, Jesus was born. And in the proper timing, he was died. Full stop. That's it. And you cannot say, why did he live like 100 years? The Holy Spirit also must come in a certain time, by the way, for us. Otherwise, we will not have this new creation in us. All right? I hope that this makes sense to you. And I hope that also this brought in your mind how to think about questioning. All right? I hope that also you pray for the channel to be a blessing for many people. Thank you very much for your time. And unless the Lord comes, we'll meet again in another episode. May the Lord bless you all. سلام المسيح يكون معكم.